What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today's been a whirlwind. I've been watching so many of these previews and reading, and none of them have shocked me, folks. I've made almost 400 videos surrounding Gotham Knights, and I've touched on so many points. Many of you have been here when I started my comparisons of Gotham Knights, and I talked about how we're going to see some elements that seem similar to the Assassin's Creed games. I remember people told me, oh, that's crazy. It's just an RPG game. Some people said, yeah, they could see the elements. I remember I said that there were some things that seemed to have division elements in them. And some people agreed, some people didn't agree. But I saw a previewer today literally say it, and I was shocked. I was like, it's not that I want it to happen. I actually don't want to see the division in this game. For some of you, you know that I'm an avid division player. In fact, I have an entire channel built around Tom Clancy's The Division. This is how I make my content, by the way. And I know it surprises some people. They're like, why do you make content on only one video game? Yo, this is how I choose to make my content. There are many YouTubers that actually do it. We serve a specific audience at a time. We're not making videos on all kinds of different things out there. No, it's too distracting. Most of us that make videos like this, we're grown in a sense. You know, we have a life. So making content on one specific game is easier. It's better because you know the subject much more than you know many other subjects. It's just a thing, right? And then I also, had some people kind of say they were surprised that, oh, you didn't get an early copy of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not how this marketing thing works. It is one of those things where usually a lot of people that are going to get these previews are there to help do marketing. And so they're going to basically get people with bigger audiences for bigger reach. Now, if I was covering this game on my second channel, then probably that would have been a likelihood. But honestly, it's refreshing to view the game from your perspective as well. And, and seeing that is so much fun because on my other channel, I have gotten a lot of those, early access to games and such. I mean, it's not a big deal. To be honest, it's actually a lot of work. Some people don't really know that how much work that is because, for those who travel, they would have traveled and they would have gotten the footage and then come back and then read the guidelines and make sure they don't go show something that violates the NDA that they signed. Yo, been there, done that. Not fun for me. Maybe fun for others, but not fun for me. So this is actually where I like to hang my hat, where we're just waiting for the game and seeing everything at the same time. It's so much fun. And some of you begged me not to spoil it, so I'm not putting any of the new preview stuff here. But it's been really interesting to watch a lot of the previewers because a lot of the previewers have said some really weird stuff. Some have said some things that are valid, not that I disagree. But one preview channel said that the game is playable for up to 4 players. I think they were probably mistaken with their information. And so I didn't want to maybe go here and expose them. I think they were just, maybe misunderstood. I think they just didn't know. So that's another thing. Some others would not stop the Arkham comparison. But this is also another thing that we here on this channel, we've discussed extensively. But here it is, folks. I told y'all that it's going to be hard for this game to stay away from under the shadow of Arkham. That's one thing about following a revolutionary game. And if I even were to say something like, okay, maybe this is the game that they were kind of mandated to make. Maybe somebody in the top brass of it, Warner Brothers or Warner Media said, hey, make a Batman, universe game. And this is what they, were given to make. And so here it is. It could also be that it was one of those things where they decided they were going to go with this and kind of see if they could, re-revolutionize the industry or revitalize this, niche. But I don't know. A lot of the reviewers don't seem to be able to log out or unplug from the Arkham side. Whereas we on this channel, I myself, let me speak for myself. I've spent months trying to divest myself in terms of my connection and the way I enjoy the Arkham game so that I can look at this game from a much more objective perspective. Gotham Knights doesn't seem like it's going to get that same favor from many other reviewers. And even so far, the previewers are showing that that's the case. So what I'm going to basically say is every single individual is going to be very, very much responsible for how they view this game. And be it from an Arkham lens or from a lens where you're trying to say, I'm not really a big Arkham person, or I can actually separate my mind from the Arkham, presentation and look at this for what it is. You're on your own in this sense. You're going to have to be the one that deals with that in that sense. And I think that's the biggest challenge for many people. But for some of you, I was really surprised. Many of you said you were more hyped by what you saw. I kid you not. I was sitting here thinking, man, a lot of people are going to throw away their pre-orders today. They're not going to be feeling it. And it's insane how many in this community have been responding. I think what you've been doing and where you've been responding has been making the heads of the haters explode all over the place. I literally saw one person that said they were going to cancel their pre-order, and they weren't saying it out of spite. They just said it that, at this time, I'm going to cancel my pre-order. And then some others said, maybe I'll come back in a sale. That is the kind of response that I commend all the time. You got to make a decision that's suitable for you. VG is not going to be the one that buys you your copy of Gotham Knights. So one of the best things you can do is you could choose and say, yeah, this is how I want to roll with it. You know what I mean? And so I'm really so excited about the way the community responded to the game. It shows that the community wants this game, regardless of the previewers and whatever it is that they're saying. The community is just watching. It's like the previewers are talking and everybody is just like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I just want to play as Red Hood. Blah, blah, blah. I just want to play as Robin. I mean, y'all are insane with how much you are actually wanting this game. And I think the developers actually feel that vibe. This, in my opinion, the preview stuff is going through the motions. And this is why I've always challenged this notion that we need a demo for this game. Because I think the demo is really going to rep real hard. Like the community is going to be able to get their hands on this game and we're going to see this game unlocked. I was watching the combat. Many of you know that's why I'm here. I'm here to punch bad guys, I'm not here to, look around and do all this other stuff. Those to me are just additions. For me, the steak and potatoes is that I can punch and kick baddies and, basically fight. I mean, obviously, the name of the channel is Video Game Fight School. And I saw the combat and I saw varying levels of competence in all of the different players. I'm not going to say anything I don't want to speak to anybody's competence on playing the game, especially because of the fact that some people played the game over an internet connection. So I think maybe they'll need to get their hands on a full-blown copy and then we can see how everybody throws down. Because some people were really playing hard. In fact, there was one preview that I watched, and I'm not going to say the name, and they were playing with Robin. And boy, did they represent. I mean, they made sure that they changed their attacks so well. They did their finishers. They did not they did not hit the attack button excessively and whiff attacks. There was so much discipline in that. I said, by the moment some real gamers, some sweats, SMVR, GBG, and so on and so forth handle this game, I think we're going to be able to see the full potential of the combat. As of now, what we're seeing is a lot of people getting used to the combat. So yes, we're going to be seeing a few things that are probably looking amiss because the combat does have its own style. And yeah, because it's not free flow, it's not supposed to flow freely. It's supposed to have limitations like many other games that you see out there. I've compared this to, Assassin's Creed. I think the earlier days of seeing this particular trailer, I said, man, this gives me Assassin's Creed vibes, and it absolutely did. So it's really fun, and it's really interesting to just read and see reactions overall. Some people have concluded that to them, it's not going to be that important. Some people have said, it's not going to be that interesting, and that's perfectly fine. I think one of the best things that can happen is everybody know where they stand right now, so that they can actually understand what they're buying. Because this ain't no Cyberpunk, baby. This is it. This is Gotham Knights. This is what you're getting with maybe a lot more surprises or a few more surprises or maybe no surprises. Maybe this is the entire thing that you've seen today. So understand where your $70 or if you play on PC, where your $60 is going. And I think that's the most impressive thing about Gotham Knights. I think that's where Gotham Knights is actually going to maintain the most part of its success is the fact that it was transparent as much as it possibly could. In comparing it to the Arkham games, it's not going to be comparable to the Arkham games. The Arkham games were made by the freaking Real Madrid of video game development. This is Warner Bros. Montreal, no offense, but you guys are like the Spurs. If you're a Spurs fan, no offense to you, but if you guys, went head to head with Real Madrid, if y'all won, it would be like a really, big deal, but Real Madrid will crush Tottenham Hotspurs right now. I mean, they would do it with their eyes closed. Such a strong team and have always been a strong team for many years with a strong track record. You know what I mean? So you think about that level of development. It's not really something that you find all over the place. One of my audience members actually were talking about this the other day. We're talking about how, each team is going to have to be looked at from their own perspective. From looking at them and saying, well, this is this team, this is their prowess. And this is what Warner Brothers Games Montreal at this stage can deliver. It's just one of those things where if Rocksteady was making this game, I would have a whole different set of expectations. But it's fine. At the end of the day, to me, I think it's just, it's okay. If this is what you can deliver as your first game, and so far nobody hates it. Everyone's like, well, I kind of like it. Or some people are like, I really like it. And some people are like, well, I don't know if I like it yet. That's fine. That's honest. That's true. It's the most honest game I've ever seen. You know, I've never seen a game more honest than this game. And I think that's basically all they had. They just had the honesty and they had the right intentions for everything. But again, at the end of the day, I think the fans are really dialed in. I mean, that's all I've just seen. Sorry, I just kept reading comments and I was like, wow. I'm sure the devs must be feeling a lot of the pressure from both sides and the comfort from the fans at the same time. You know, and that's why I've said this again, and I'll always say it. You know, one of the bigger errors that will probably happen to this game if it doesn't get a demo before release. The gameplay feel is the last phase. Everything we got to see, we didn't need all these previews, to be honest, except maybe a few questions that got answered. For me, I think all my questions are answered right now. One of the reviewers, I think it was the IGN one, said something about the multiplayer. They said it was just a seamlessly executed system. That was the biggest issue for me because of all the experiences that we've had with Unreal Engine, you know, some of you may or may not know that its multiplayer system is actually quite strange. It's very hard to deal with. But apparently, no problem. According to the previewers from IGN, they said, man, the preview just worked very well. So I'm happy with that. And so I would love to hear or continue to read what it is you think so far about Gotham Knights. Have you changed your mind? Has this just confirmed everything you thought about or suspected? Who are you even now maybe more adamant about? Because Red Hood got more hype today than anything else. A lot of people talked about him extensively. They said, man, they were shocked about how the character represented. So it might be some people are going back to pick Red Hood again in regard to how they want to play the characters. It's also another thing to probably see more of the community play and represent with this combat. I think that's where the combat's still lacking. It's just it needs to catch the real hands, right? The people that can actually just, you know, make this thing connect. I think that's where it's at. I need to see more people play it and get competent with it, because that 2 hours doesn't give you mastery for many people. Some people are able to pick up fast, but it takes much longer than that. But anyways, I'll stop this video here. We'll talk again in another one. Thanks so much for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon. Peace out.